You know, we got this before GTA 6 is such a tired joke, so I'm gonna do my own variant on this. We got an Eli Roth Ice Cream Man remake before Rihanna dropped a full album. What's up everybody, welcome to the channel. I am Nick, and today we're going to be reviewing Ice Cream Man, Eli Roth's newest horror film under the horror section, his own little company and everything, and my expectations going into this one were extremely low, and I should have been lower after watching this. Now there's a common phrase to eat the frog, and this is meant to mean get the hardest thing out of the way before you get into the easier stuff, so that's what I'm going to do by saying the positives of this movie first. And in that regard, I'm going to say that the vibrant colors of this movie actually do work in a sense where they're trying to go for this like upbeat, colorful, like the Ice Cream Man is actually bad kind of vibe and everything. And I do think the vibrant colors do work, and I think it creates a nice look for the movie. And I also do think that this movie packs some good laughs here and there and does provide to the entertainment value in that sense, but you're laughing because this movie is bad, and that is the end of my positives for this movie. This is what you came for. Now, I hate making a video with the sole purpose of just slandering a movie to no end, but in a movie like this, where it just feels extremely lazy and just barely really has a story, and one more thing I'll get to at the end of this review, so stay tuned for that, I think this movie absolutely deserves all the criticism in the world. When I say that it barely has a story, it's because it really doesn't. And the concept of an Ice Cream Man going around and like putting something in the ice cream that'll make the kids like his zombified killing army or whatever, that's not a bad concept at all, and actually a pretty interesting one. It's just that there's nothing beyond this concept. It just does that and rolls with it the whole time. There's no real progression in the story besides just a bunch of, you know, killing kids and like killer kids and everything. And then just exposition dumps here and there, and it's just, there's just nothing to this movie at all. The movie's only bag of tricks is gratuitous violence, which being an unrated movie, it goes all in on the gore, and that feels like that's its entire identity. Look at how gory we are. But it does all of these like gratuitous violence moments in sporadic bursts that are about 10 minutes each, and the aggressive shaky cam is nauseating, where if you don't do well with like amazingly high amounts of gore, and you don't do well with shaky cam, regardless of just how bad the quality is, do not watch this movie at all. It's going to be a really nauseating and lightheaded experience for you. Now, the highest of highs is there will occasionally be a decent kill, and one where they're trying to go intentionally goofy on it, where it does actually work in some points, but the majority of this, you're laughing at it because of just being unintentionally bad. They also don't really branch out with some of the ideas they do introduce, where I thought there was one thing that they completely missed the opportunity on, and that's with the different flavors of ice cream that the Ice Cream Man is serving. They show on the truck that there's all these like weird, creepy themed flavors. You got a spider one, you got some other ones there too, and all of the ice cream does the exact same effect on these kids, making just this whole hive mind of them. But I really think that if they tried to do each flavor having a different effect on how they go about the kills or how they act and everything, I think that would have been a very interesting idea to have a different variations of what they're doing than just one hive mind from every flavor having the same effect. And on top of that, I don't really think the characters are very interesting. The three kids that they have leading this movie just don't really bring much to the table, and I'm not going to diss any child actors at all, really, because I don't think that's really fair. It's not really even nice or anything, but the material they were given did not do them any favors whatsoever. I see potential for them to be good in other projects, but this one, they really had nothing to do. Like, the material gave them nothing to give, like, a really good performance. All of that to say, the GOAT of this movie is Tommy. He is the best character in all of fiction, literally stole the screen the entire movie, and was the only one that was actually funny or entertaining to follow, which is interesting to say when the title character of the movie, the Ice Cream Man, couldn't outshine the third kid leading the movie. The third one. You have the Ice Cream Man, who you were trying to make a horror icon, and you do literally nothing with him. He doesn't talk at all and only communicates through these goofy facial expressions, which is not necessarily a bad thing because we have seen it work before, like very recently with Art the Clown from the Terrifier movies, but it's just the way that it's portrayed. The expressions come off as more goofy for the sake of being goofy than rather trying to turn something goofy and making it scary. And there's potential in what they wanted to do here, but I really don't think it worked. And in between all of these killing sprees, we get these awful exposition dumps with some of the most cringe dialogue of the year. And there's an entire scene earlier in the movie where they're at the dinner table, like the main family and everything, and they're making like jokes jokes about how the parents are very cringe with how they speak and everything, and I'm thinking, wow, how ironic, you're calling out your own movie here. But all of the dialogue throughout this entire movie is just not good. It falls very flat. Like I said, the kids had no material to work with to give good performances. That is everyone in this movie. No one had good material because the dialogue is all bad, especially when there's exposition dumps, especially like turn of the third act, we have this long exposition dump trying to explain like the backstory of the ice cream man and everything, and it's just like, we're introducing this random lore dump that doesn't fit the theme of this movie at all. It just happens to happen and try to be edgier with everything, and it's just like, we're introducing all of these insane rules to how everything works, making it such an oddly specific way that the third act has to go, and it's trying to be self-aware with how stupid the rules are, but you're still doing those rules anyway, and the delivery of the self-awareness is more cringe than anything, so none of what they're trying to do works, and in turn it just becomes a very oddly rule-focused for the sake of doing something, and it just does not work for the third act to be really insane. And another part of the whole cringe thing that I forgot to mention is there is literally a character in this movie named Chris who has a lawn care business called Criz. What else do you want me to say?
What's up? I'm Riz.
And then we get to the actual ending, and wow, I really think they did not know what they were doing. I think they just had a bunch of darts, they threw them at a bunch of random things, and didn't care how close to a bullseye or how far away from a bullseye they got. They just took those ideas and ran with them, because the end of this movie, I actually do think it had a decent idea for the twist, and I think the way they go about it actually isn't a bad reveal or anything. It's kind of obvious on how you know, like, where the story is going, that it's kind of an obvious twist, but I don't think the idea of it actually is bad at all. It's just the way that the movie is handled as soon as that happens, where we get an immediate resolution, because it doesn't feel like the movie actually resolves anything. It doesn't tease an Ice Cream Man 2, even though they want to do it. It doesn't have anything that teases a necessary sequel to this movie, and it just ends you, like, not feeling anything because you're like, oh, the movie's over? We didn't actually fix a single thing in this movie. And like, in a better movie, I would be more mad about the ending not doing anything, but in this movie, it got me out 15 minutes earlier, so in that case, I am happy that it had a terrible ending. Now, the movie is only entertaining to laugh at with friends because of how bad it is. Like, any intentional humor in this movie, for the most part, does not work, but I do think when it's unintentionally funny, it is entertaining to watch because you're just laughing at it, and this movie so desperately wants you to laugh with it, with its campiness and the jokes that they're one-liners and everything, but you're just laughing at it, and it's just kind of a miserable experience if you're gonna watch this solo. Now, I'll address the elephant in the room. It has been confirmed by Eli Roth himself that the movie does use generative AI, and the main, like, note is that it was apparently used in the flashback sequence where they had the grainy filter and all the effects there, which filters that are as accessible as a drag and drop in Adobe. Yeah, I guess we gotta use AI for that just to make things a little easier. And it's also rumored that in the animated sequences here, where it's like little cartoons of the ice cream mascot and everything, that was also used with AI. Eli Roth very much overstated that he drew those characters himself and works with animators, but other places like Deadline and all that are saying it's a bit suspicious to constantly be saying that as soon as you say you used AI. So benefit of the doubt, but at the same time, does it get it? But yeah, the movie, I think it's an exaggeration to say it's just filled with AI. Like, the volume of it is relatively low because it's just a clickbait buzzword, so people are gonna be like, it's filled with AI! It uses it, but it's not that much of a use. Still bad though. Before I get into my final thoughts, make sure to subscribe to this channel to get more content like this, and if you don't subscribe, then I'm gonna think you support this movie using generative AI, so if you don't subscribe, I know who you are. Eli Roth's take on Ice Cream Man is certainly a movie that came out in the Big 2-6. A movie that plays like a 90-minute logline whose main draw is, look, we have a lot of gore. It's a one-trick pony that would finish last in the Kentucky Derby that never provides any shock and provides laughs at how bad this movie really is. It's one of the worst movies of the year, but in a really funny way. So this movie is going to get a 1.5 out of 5 from me. It is bad, and I completely understand people going lower. It does get a bit of a personal boost because watching this movie in the theaters early too, with the secret screening and everything, watching it with friends does make it funnier and more entertaining because of how bad this movie really is in a laughable way, and that is the only strength of this movie that I can give it and the experience watching it. But other than that, if you're going to the solo, it's going to be just a completely miserable experience. But this movie is going to be the first one on this channel to be added to the Chronically Ironic collection. It is going to be a collection of movies that are just so bad that they're funny, or so bad it's good. This movie is just so bad that it's funny. But movie number 1 in the Chronically Ironic collection is Ice Cream Man. So thank you all for watching this movie. I hope you enjoyed it. The Chronically Ironic Collection 4K release of Ice Cream Man will cost $75, by the way. 50% off on Black Friday at Barnes & Noble. But yeah, this movie wasn't great, but want to know what is great? This channel. You should sub, totally. Subscribe, like to see a clapperboard appear, and with that, we're just going to sign off. We'll see you all later.